I have Bishop Michael Reinhardt from Texas to thank for my comic, my meme, whatever today. Hey, Thomas, do you think Christians will ever appreciate that you were actually a person of great faith? I doubt it. Yeah, well, why do we call Thomas the doubting one? Of all the disciples besides Judas, I think Thomas gets the worst reputation. And he doesn't deserve it, folks. What does Thomas ask for that everybody else hasn't already gotten? What does he ask for that we don't want as well? We want to see Jesus, to see that proof that the resurrection is real. Thomas wants the same thing. So why, if he only wants what we want, do we call that doubt? Thomas was a man of great faith. He followed Jesus all over Judea, Galilee, Samaria, wherever he went. When Jesus was going back to Bethany to raise Lazarus, Thomas is the one who said, well, if he's going, let's go with him, even if it means we die with him. That does not sound like doubt to me. There's one other question I have about Thomas that I haven't been able to answer. Where was he when everybody else saw Jesus the day of the resurrection? He seems to be the only one out of the 11 who had enough gumption to leave that upper room and go somewhere else. And he made it back safely wherever he was, we know that. Maybe he was trying to figure out whether it was safe for everybody else to go outside. Maybe somebody had to go get more supplies. Whatever the case, everybody else saw Jesus, and he didn't. Now he wants to see and touch and live into this resurrection promise the same way that the others have. And Jesus makes that happen. Jesus comes to him with the rest of the disciples and offers him just what he asks for. Jesus lets Thomas see him and touches him and urge him to believe. Like our theme for this Easter season, we see that love, the love of Christ, seeks. Love seeks Thomas out, seeks us out. Love comes to meet us wherever we are. Now the exciting part to me is what we hear from Thomas then. He declares Jesus, my Lord and my God. That is the strongest announcement of faith we're going to see in the Gospels, anywhere. You'd think we would all want to be like Thomas instead of holding him up like the doubter. The Bible study that we have on Tuesday mornings comes from the ELCA's women's magazine called Gather. And it usually follows a theme for 2 to 4 months. It's written by pastors, scholars, writers, all kinds of people from the Lutheran world. We've been looking at the Gospel of John for a few months now, and April's theme is Finding the Risen Christ. In among the other people from John's Gospel, we've looked at the Thomas story and the Bible study. Writer, Reverend Julie Kennard, pointed out several things that I hadn't thought about before, even though I've studied this passage a few times. She reminds us that these 2 meetings of Jesus and the disciples on the first day of the week follow the pattern of Christian worship that we still follow today. Think about it. We gather together and encounter the risen Christ. We share the peace. We receive forgiveness. We get blessed and sent out into the world. This is what they're doing in that upper room. Jesus tells the disciples, peace be with you, 3 times during this passage. What does that mean to us? Where is that peace of Christ that passes all understanding in our world? Especially after yesterday, when we're reminded again that people seem to be okay with entering places of worship with weapons of some kind and destroying the peace there. It's gotten to a point where we almost celebrate a little when an incident like yesterday in Poway, California, in the synagogue, well, it only caused 1 death. What is wrong with us and with this world where we can be even vaguely okay with, well, it only made 1 person die? No one should have to worry about what is going to happen when I go to worship this morning. What's going to happen in my house where I meet God. But from the moment that humankind started trying to play God, we've been broken. Even the gift of Jesus' peace, saving us from that brokenness being a permanent condition, doesn't keep us from being flawed human beings. We just don't listen, even when God offers us perfect peace. But love seeks us out, meets us where we are, even in this brokenness. Then, once love has found us, like Thomas and the disciples, the God of love blesses us and sends us out into the world. What are we sent to do? I mean, you know the answers, even when you don't feel like doing any of it. Love one another, everybody, always. Feed the hungry, visit the lonely and the sick, comfort the grieving, be there for each other. All of that may not be easy, but it's not as hard as we make it out to be sometimes. Love seeks us out to have us serve our neighbor. It's what we're called to do. Jesus in this gospel calls us blessed. Did you catch that? He calls us blessed. Blessed are those who have not seen but have yet come to believe. We are those people. The only way we see Jesus in the world is around us, in the people around us, in the world around us. We don't get what Thomas got to be able to see and touch Jesus physically today. But Jesus and Jesus' love is all around us. Where have you seen Jesus this week? It's a question that we ask the kids in confirmation and other settings all the time. It's a question we ask people to ask each other in their homes. Where have you seen Jesus this week or today? I've seen Jesus in folks gathering around the Fisher family and the Brown family as they grieve. I've seen Jesus in the amazing amount of hours that Lori and Alita and David and others that you don't even think about put into making sure that our Easter worship was a wonderful experience, especially for the people who might not go to worship very often. These things felt like love, seeking me out, seeking others out, and I want to celebrate that. If you think for a minute about where you've seen Jesus this week, what would you say? And give you a whole whopping 1 minute to think about this and to talk to the people next to you. Truly, literally a minute, folks. But where have you seen Jesus this week? Have you been looking? Okay. As I said, I'm only giving you a minute for this. And before you answer, I'm going to have Zach, if you want to talk to people, come around with mic number 4, hand mic 4, so that you can tell us in that way. Now, I know everybody, not everybody. Some of you are going to say, oh, I don't need a mic. I have a loud voice. Well, you probably do. But nobody with hearing aids or with any other hearing problem is going to be able to hear you. So if you love those around you and want them to hear you, wait for Zach and the microphone. So anybody want to share where they've seen Jesus? There's got to be somebody. Yeah, Marianne, and then in the back.
I'd say my grandchildren, just spending time with them and being able to babysit them and enjoy them, and just the laughter and the joy.
Being able to walk on the mountains and the hillsides these last few weeks, and the variety of flowers that I've never seen before in the midst of the burnt out trees is just amazing.
Yeah.
I see Jesus almost every day in the children that I work with, to see them change from unloving to loving young people. He's at work.
He's at work because you're at work, Miss Dixie. For him.
I guess this week and last week, I've seen God's in my daughter. The new part of for her MS. She's walking straighter, she's eating, and it's because of God and all your prayers. So we thank you. And also, yesterday, looking at my two granddaughters, thinking, boy, I am getting old because they're so big. Looking at them and realizing that God has helped each of them get to where they are. And I know that they are going to be wonderful women in God's world.
Amen. All right. One more.
I saw Jesus in my sister. Our brother's wife died on Friday,
Ooh.
and she comforted him, saying, "Leanne, I can see her in heaven smiling now."
So Jesus is all around us, and Jesus can use us for this. This love seeks is true. Love seeks us out and will not let us go. No matter how many things happen, no matter the challenges around us, love seeks us out. And John's gospel is a wonderful reminder of that. I mean, like the best storytellers, John brings us full circle from where he started out. Just like most really good writers, the end of things are coming back to the beginning. Did you know that this part of the gospel story that we have today was thought to be the original ending of the book of John? The rest of it's kind of an epilogue. What happened next? But the original gospel is thought to end with, "These things are written so that you may come to believe that Jesus is the Messiah." And in that, he comes back to the beginning. If you, Luke, you can advance the slide. Let's remind us of, okay, what does John's gospel say in the beginning? In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things came into being through him, and without him not one thing came into being. What has come into being in him was life, and the life was the light of the people. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness will not overcome it. We need to be part of that light. We need to fight the darkness in every way we can. That's the whole purpose of John's gospel, to let us know that Jesus is the Messiah, so that when love seeks us out, we can, like Thomas, proclaim, "My Lord and my God." Amen.